Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, because today I am playing Sword of the Samurai for the second time. Last time it went absolutely horribly wrong twice. So I'm hoping I'll be able to improve on that today when I play this again, and hopefully I won't have to fight the sunlight as well. You can see on my right here, you can see a little bit of my blinds here, and you can see it actually is quite a bright day outside. The blinds are keeping most of the light out, but sometimes the sun comes out and barges its way in, even with the blinds closed like they are now. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Boom. Okay, here we are on my desk. I got my supplies. I got my book, my character sheet, which is blank, my map, which is very sparse for now, I should say. There comes the sun there. Got my pens and my dice. Let's see. So, let's get started. Let's make our character. Now, one unusual thing about this book compared to the other ones is that in addition to your normal three stats of skill, stamina, and luck, you also have an honor score, which is something you can gain and lose as the game progresses, depending on your actions, and which will affect certain events in the book and how people perceive you. So I still don't know exactly how that's going to play in, because I never encountered anything to do with honor on my previous playthrough. So skill 12, and I think we need good skill for this one, so that is good. Stamina, oh my, 23. Luck's gonna be rubbish now, isn't it? Yeah, well, can't have everything. So luck 8. Honor, let's just have a little look and see how honor score was calculated. Let's see, honor points. You begin the adventure with 3 honor points. Okay, so 3 honor. In this game, we also have, if I remember correctly, 10 provisions, so you can regain some stamina by eating. Special rules. There's also, you can get to pick a skill. Last time I picked Nito Kenditsu, which means you're able to fight with 2 swords at the same time. There is in the text here, it doesn't specifically say whether you're supposed to do a new combat roll for your opponent as well when doing Nito Kenjutsu. It's a little bit vague there. In any case, I thought maybe I should do something different this time, so I'm going to choose Iaijutsu, which is fast draw. Iaijutsu, which means that you get first strike. So when you start a battle, regardless of your opponent's skill, in the first round of combat, you always do 3 points of stamina damage. So, yeah. So the first round, you automatically win the round and get 3 points of damage in, which can be really useful. So I'm going to try that and see how that works out. And there's fewer things to keep track of course, than if you have Kyujutsu, which of course is archery, and heroic leap is different because it's something that just depends entirely on what goes on in the text. There was a situation last time where heroic leap could actually, or what was it called again? Karumi. Hang on. Karumi Ditsu. Yes, so heroic leaping. Right, so that is my starting point. Let's just read the background, shall we? So, the world of Titan has 3 main continents: Alancia, Kakabad, and Kul, the Dark Continent. It is on the eastern coast of Kul that the land of Hachiman lies. The sea on one side and mountains on all the others cut Hachiman off from the rest of the continent, and therefore I suppose the rest of the world. The capital of Hachiman is Konichi, and its ruler is Kihei Hasekawa, the shogun. You are a young samurai, the shogun's champion, and said by many to be Kensei, or sword saint. You have faithfully followed Bushido, the way of the warrior, and are a master of Kenjutsu, the way of the sword, it says here, but that means the art of the sword. Kendo is the way of the sword. Kenjutsu is the art of the sword. One day the shogun summons you to his presence and tells you a dreadful tale. Hachiman is in grave danger. My control is slipping. Some lords are seeking to break away and declare their estates independent. Others have already done so and plot against me. Bandits roam the land freely, and barbarian invaders have begun to raid across our borders. Knowing that Hachiman is weak, yes, how can barbarian invaders raid across the borders if the land is cut off from everywhere else? Anyway, all this because Daikatana, the great sword, Singing Death, has been stolen from me. Singing Death is a wondrous sword, said to bestow great powers on its keeper, and to be the soul of Hachiman. He who wields Singing Death and uncovers the secret of the sword will rule Hachiman. The shogun continues. Many lords say I now have no right to rule. Some seek to take the sword for themselves. Others have already changed their allegiance to he who now holds the sword. And no keeper could be worse. It is Ikiru, master of shadows, that soulless dog who cowers in his mountain fastness, Onikaru, the pit of demons. Now that he has the sword, Bakemonosho and Shikome are flocking to his banners, and he summons forth Shura, warrior ghost, from the pit to aid him. Soon, if he uncovers the secret of the sword, he will overrun our beautiful land of cherry blossoms. You have Senki, war spirit, and to you I entrust this mission. Go, my champion, to Onikaru, slay Ikiru, and bring me Singing Death. It will not be easy. To slay Ikiru and to defeat his infernal allies, you will have to uncover the secret of Singing Death. I cannot tell you the secret, for it is written that he who freely reveals it will be damned forever to the nether regions, and Singing Death will disappear from the world of men. You will have to solve the puzzle yourself. I will pray to the Kami of the heavens for your success. And may Hote, god of luck, smile on you. Here, take this, the seal of the shogun. It will give you safe passage through those areas still loyal to me. Right. So basically it says here that the one who wields Singing Death and uncovers the secret of the sword will rule Hachiman. And that means, doesn't that mean that if you have to find the secret of it, and you have to get the sword, that you are then suddenly the rightful ruler of Hachiman? I'm just saying. You gather your weapons, your katana, longsword, and wakizashi, short sword, your battle armor, and provisions. The guards salute you as you leave the main gate of Konichi. You follow the road north to the beautiful countryside surrounding the capital. Soon you come to a fork in the road. Will you go west and north to the Forest of Shadows, Hagakure Bridge, and on to the Shiosei Mountains, which is a really weird thing because Shiosei, that's not Japanese or any language as far as I can tell. Maybe Hawaii's. Or east to the ford through the Mizokumo fens and thence to the mountains. Okay, so let's have a little look at our map again. So last time you have the choice of forest or, hang on, that was a message, which means it might be important. So I'll just have to look at that. Or not. New bank statement, not very useful. Okay. In fact, I don't know why I got a notification about bank statements. I should switch those off because obviously I get one every month. Yeah. Anyway. So I either have the choice of going to the fens and the mountains or to the forest. I'm going to, I don't know, there's a lot of rubbish going on if you went to the fens. And last time I even chopped my foot off. That's how bad it got. So I'm going to go to the forest again. So I'll see how that goes this time. And now I have more skill, so that should be useful in getting through there alive. Your journey on through the lands of Hachiman. Wherever you pass, people bow with respect, recognizing either the shogun's champion or the shogun's seal. This close to Konichi, the land is as it ever was, peaceful and happy. After a few days, habitations become more sparse. You are traveling through the domain of Lord Tsietsin, which also does not work in Japanese, by the way, that name. I don't know. I shouldn't keep pointing it out because I'm so geared into this book having names in Japanese, and there are lots of them that actually work fine in Japanese, and then suddenly you have these ones that this one Tsietsin, that sounds Chinese, and Shikoi, whatever it was, which I don't know. What was it again? Shiosi, which sounds, yeah, I don't know, some kind of Pacific Island language. Anyway, when you notice a plume of smoke on the horizon, as you draw near, you can see it is a burning village. You shake your head sorrowfully at the state Hachiman is in, when raiders can strike into the heart of one of the Lord's territories. A dusty track leads from the road to the village. Will you investigate the village or decide your mission is too important and press on? I'm going to investigate the village. So I'm going to 34. That's what I've done before. You stride down the dusty track, but break into a run when screams of pain come to you from the burning village. You can see horsemen, presumably bandits, charging in among the fleeing villagers. A grove of trees obscures your view for a moment, and as you round it, a horseman gallops up the trail from the village towards you. It is a samurai, with a long spear in one hand and dressed in the green and blue lacquered armor of Tsietsin, the lord of this area. Will you run towards him, show him the shogun's seal, and order him to tell you what is going on, or wait for him to come to you? Well, if you show him the shogun's seal, then he suddenly attacks you and you are taken by surprise. I'm going to wait for him to come to me because maybe observing him turning hostile will make me more prepared for the attack. So I'm going to go to 56. Let's see, 56. The samurai rider starts at the sight of you. Then he shouts, "It is that milksop, the so-called shogun, Kihei Hasekawa's lackey. Long live the new shogun, Tsietsin-sama." He levels his spear and charges at you. Lord Tsietsin has turned traitor. If you are a master of the bow and wish to fire an arrow, turn to 80. If not, you will have to receive his charge. So, right. So where are we? Wait. Yeah, and that gave us two options. Either if we have mastery of Kyujutsu, the art of the bow, then we get to shoot him before he gets too close. So 80, and Kyujutsu, or 92. Wait, okay, so 92 it is. The spearhead hurtles towards you. Roll 2 dice. 7. If the result is less than or equal to your skill, you have successfully parried the thrust. If not, etc. In any case, the samurai wheels his horse round and stabs down as you try to cut him from the saddle. So, our first battle. And of course, we are using our Iaijutsu, which means that first round of combat, we automatically strike him for 3, which basically is the same as saying that he starts with 3 less stamina, in effect. So he's got 8-6 left as the normal battle commences, and I've got 12-23. So I've got a 4 skill point advantage, and he rolls 5. I roll 10. It's down to 4. He rolls 3. I roll 11. He's down to 2. And finally, perhaps he rolls 7 and I roll 4. That is still me hitting him, and he is dead. Right. So let's see, let's put this on my map. So there is test skill, and then there is an 8, 9. There we are. And then it's -3 stamina if skill test fails. If you win, which I do, I go to 72, which is the same as I got to last time after winning the first combat. Let's see. With a powerful scything blow, you cut deep into the rider's leg. He gives a shout of pain and topples from the saddle. Before he hits the ground, you have struck his head from his shoulders with one sweep of your katana. I like the flavor text there. That actually embellishes the battle. It's not just fight and then you win and then you just sort of go on from there as if nothing happened. And this is something that also in the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, there were a few instances where you actually get that post-battle flavor text, like one of the battles with the orcs. It sort of afterwards, you sort of feel, oh, it was quite a wretched creature that you just put out of its misery, and you're not feeling a bit ambivalent about it as well. And then you wipe the green blood off from your sword before you put it back in its scabbard. And those kinds of things add a lot of flavor, I think, to the text. It doesn't take much, just a little sentence every now and again to just add that little bit more atmosphere to it. So I think that is a really good thing with this book, by the way. I must say that now that I'm thinking about it, so I don't forget to mention it later. Lord Sietzin is a traitor, you realize. About 10 of his samurai, I've already realized that, so that's a slight continuity error there. Yeah. 10 of his samurai are running amok in the village, looting and killing the defenseless villagers. Will you leave the village to its fate? I can't do that because that's not Bushido, is it? Deciding your mission is more important. Or will you run into the village and attack the nearest samurai? Or will you run into the village and shout out that you are the shogun's champion and you challenge anyone to an honorable duel? Or if you have the skill of Kyujutsu, will you enter the village and dodge from house to house, picking off the raiders as you go? I'm going, of course, to go in there and challenge somebody to an honorable duel because that is the correct Bushido way of handling it. So I'm going to go to 128. There we are. You run into the village and then shout the challenge at the top of your voice. Many of the samurai turn and stare as you tell them who you are. One of them steps forward and says, "We no longer owe allegiance to Kihei Hasekawa and follow the new shogun, Tsietsin. But we are still samurai. Come then, let us duel." He steps forward, drawing his sword. And also in the real world, they would, well, this isn't the real world, of course, but in the real feudal Japan, they probably wouldn't have said much. They would have just stopped what they were doing, and they would have used body language, actually, to communicate this more than anything else. There would have been bowing involved. Anyway, with eye contact. Okay, so he steps forward, drawing his sword. He stands before you, sword raised over his head, its tip pointed at your throat. You must fight 3 of these samurai, but they come at you one at a time in an honorable but biased fashion. Okay. Yeah, that biased fashion, you don't need to point that out. That's a weird thing to say. Okay. So we got a 7-9, a 9-8, and a 7-9 again. Although, of course, I get Iaijutsu advantage for these battles. There's nothing that says that I can't use that, so each of them goes down 3 stamina points because I get first strike. So, first one, I have a 5 skill point advantage. He rolls 11, sorry. And I roll 8, so that means I hit him. He rolls 9, I roll 4, so that is a draw. He rolls 6, I roll 10, he's down to 2, and finally he rolls 2 and I roll 3 and he is dead. Second one, I've got only a 3 skill point advantage. So he rolls 10, I roll 9, he's down to 3. He rolls 11, I roll 11, he's down to 1. He rolls 7, I roll 7, and he is also dead. Last one, I've got a 5 skill point advantage again. He rolls 9, I roll 6, he's down to 4 hit points. He rolls 8, I roll 6, he's down to 2, and finally, most likely, he rolls 4 and I roll 9, and he is also dead, but in an honorable fashion, which is fine. There's no dishonor in dying in an honorable duel. In fact, as a samurai, you basically you must consider yourself dead as being of service to a master. Means that you are willing to die for them. Your own life is not worth anything. So one of the sort of the tenets, I suppose, of Bushido is that a samurai is already dead. Okay. If you kill all 3 of them, turn to 190. So we have here duel, and let's just put that into my 7, 9, 9, 8, and 7, 9. Of course, if I hadn't had such a big skill this time, I probably would have avoided this one, but there probably are easier ways out. But in this case, I'm definitely going to do that because I have the skill of the samurai champion, so I should use it as a samurai and follow the Bushido code as well. The last one falls dead at your feet. You expect another to step forward and take his place, but none of the other samurai make a move. The villagers cower in their homes, watching the proceedings with fear and hope in their eyes. 1 or 2 of the samurai shuffle back uncomfortably. They have been awed by your swordsmanship. One of them says, "You are a master of the sword, and you have won great honor here. As you have fought so well, we will leave now and spare your life." No. He's got it all wrong, doesn't he? I'm the one sparing their life, not the other way around. Ugh. His words sound courteous, but you sense it is fear of facing you rather than desire to honor you that is making them leave. They leave the village as fast as they can. You feel too tired to pursue them. Gain 1 honor point for your challenge and your defense of the village. Suitably, yeah, 1 honor point. Done good work in line with Bushido. Right, so +1 honor point. And then we go to 176, like so, 176. The villagers run out of their houses and their hiding places, some shouting joyfully, others weeping over lost friends and relatives. As many villagers see to dousing the fires, a number of elders approach you. Bowing low, one of them says, "I am Ninji, the headman. We cannot thank you enough for your noble act. Hachiman has fallen on bad times, but at least someone still follows the old ways. Here, my lord, please accept this gift." And he hands you a silken red headband patterned with a black 3-spoked wheel. This is the headband of Shimen, the legendary hero of Hachiman, who came from this village. This headband has been with us for centuries. You feel honored. Shimen was the great hero. Gain 1 honor and 1 luck point. Okay, so honor again, up to 5. I haven't used any luck, so I can't get any luck. Let's see. So that is +1 honor, +1 luck. Okay, that's pretty good, isn't it? Just then, a commotion starts nearby. There are cries of anger and hate. A group of villagers have found a wounded samurai raider and are dragging him towards you. They are chanting, "Kill, kill, kill, kill." The headman bows to you and says, "Please rid us of this vile murderer, Lord." The samurai lies before you, defenseless, a slim young man with a blood-stained head bandage. He looks at you defiantly, resolved not to show fear. Will you kill the samurai as the villagers wish, or spare his life? I can't just kill him like that, actually. The only correct way, according to Bushido now, is that he has been he should himself should feel dishonor, and he should take his own life. So let's see. At least that is what I would think in this case. So 238 kill or 250 spare. Okay. So I'm going to spare his life. I cannot slay this samurai in cold blood, you say loudly, and the cry of disappointment goes up from the villagers. But he should pay for his crime. And revenge, revenge, they shout. The captive samurai sits up. That's a terrible sentence there. Anyway, the captive samurai sits up in surprise and then bows low before you and offers you his sword. Thank you, my lord. My allegiance is to the shogun Hasekawa still in my heart, but I could not say thus, in the service of Chietsin as I was. But now I renounce the traitor Chietsin and pledge my sword to you, my lord. Take me as your loyal companion. Will you take him with you? Or, if you think he is lying, tell him to return to Chietsin. Well, he seems honest. I will take him with me. So, let's see. 264. I may come to regret that later, of course. So take with or send away. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take him with me. 276. Thank you, my lord. You will not regret it, he says quickly. The villagers begin to disperse, darkly muttering things like, they're all the same. As you head back to the main road, he tells you his name is Yomitsume Moichi, and that you can call him Moichi. Yeah, well, why wouldn't you? You travel north, your samurai retainer chatting incessantly about his family and his life history, so much so that you begin to regret your decision. At last he falls silent when you round a low hill to see a fortified castle about half a league from the road. It is the fortress of excuse me. It is the fortress of Lord Chietsin, the traitor, my lord, says Moichi quietly. Will you press on with your mission, or decide that the honor of the shogun must be upheld and try to enter the castle and slay the traitor? Wasn't it Chietsin that had the sword, though? Hang on, I'll just have to... Oh, Ikiru was the one who had the sword, okay. So, we got two options, both interesting, I guess. 300 traitor or 288 continue. Well, I suppose I'll go and see if I can set this straight with this traitorous Chietsin. Should I? Or maybe, because the thing is, if I manage to complete my mission, I guess that will get sorted out as well. I mean, all on its own, without me having to do anything special about it. Yeah. Oh well. I'm going to go to slay the traitor. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that now. I've got lots of skill. Although, of course, there might be other things that will kill me if I try to do that. Just the fact that he has lots of samurai protecting him. 300. Okay, so gain 1 honor point for your brave decision. So honor plus 1, okay. And now I've got 6 honor. I've doubled my honor actually, very quickly. Moichi's face falls when you tell him, but then he says, "Well, my lord, I suppose that is the honorable thing to do. I know a hidden postern gate at the rear of the castle and the password. We can gain entrance there with ease if you will allow this humble warrior to lead such a one as you, O mighty lord." He bows low. You cannot quite tell whether or not Moichi is being sarcastic in his praise of you, but you tell him to lead on anyway. He smiles roughly and leads you by a roundabout route to the rear of the castle, where it nestles against the foothills of the southern Shiosei Mountains. You wait until nightfall before approaching the hidden gate. Moichi walks up to a section of the wall and knocks on it. A slat opens and 2 eyes glittering in the moonlight stare out. "Who goes there?" a voice hisses. "It is I, Moichi. We have returned from a night patrol on Lord Sietzin's personal orders. The password is Cherry Blossom." With that, the door slides open, allowing you and Moichi to step in. Without a word, you drive your fist into the surprised guard's face. The guard falls without a sound. Turn to 136. Okay. I don't know. I just feel I've been given so many hints now that this is not going to go well. That Moichi actually isn't going to be honest now. 136. You look around. Barracks, stables, and so on line the walls. Across the castle courtyard is a square stone keep with pagoda-like roofs and carved gables, the palace of Lord Sietzin. But it is the 2 palace guards flanking the door that really draw your attention. They are shikome, vile humanoid beings, but hairy as apes, and with claws, fangs, and horrible snouted faces. So a bit like orcs, I guess. They are dressed in dirty and tattered imitations of samurai armor. What is the deal with that? Why are evil creatures why do they always have dirty and tattered armor? Even these ones in the service of a lord who needs to keep up appearances, by the way. Why would he do that? No, they wouldn't do that. They would take care of their armor just like anyone else. They would make sure it was clean and repaired, and doesn't make any sense. Okay. They're dressed in dirty and tattered imitations of samurai armor, although their weapons seem in excellent condition. The presence of Shikome can only mean that Sietzin is in league with Ikiru, Master of Shadows. Sietzin will be in the palace, and it seems even more important than before to slay him. Would you disguise yourself in the armor of the guard you have just knocked out, and with Moichi approach them, saying you have a message for Lord Sietzin? Pretend that you are Moichi's prisoner and that he is taking you to see Sietzin, or if you have the skill of Kyujutsu, try to pick off the guards as quickly and as silently as possible. There seems to be lots of possibilities of using your bow skill if you have Kyujutsu in this one, but I don't, so let's see. So 3 options. Just going to put those down on my map now. So we've got 148, 160, 170. So message, prisoner, or Kyujutsu. There we are. So those are the 3 options. I'm wondering if I should let him pretend that I'm his prisoner. Okay, I'm going to go with that one. 160. But my lord, who would believe such as I could hold captive one as noble as yourself? Moichi exclaims. You stare at him suspiciously for a moment before ordering him to get on with it. Okay. You give your weapons to Moichi. He grabs you around the neck and frog marches you forward. You cannot help but feel that Moichi is enjoying this. The two shikome stare at you with dull expressions as Moichi tells them your story. One of the guards grunts and grins at you horribly before shambling away. He returns with three of his friends, all as ugly and malodorous as one another. These three lead you into the palace. One of them grunts at Moichi. More sport for the master, eh? And gives you a vicious kick in the ribs. Lose 2 stamina points. There we are, my first stamina loss of the day. Yes, he is to be horribly tortured, says Moichi, leering at you. You glare back. Would you wait until you have been taken before Tsietsin, or have Moichi let you go so that you can both attack the Shikome guards? I think I will, at this point, maybe try to take out the guards, because I'm beginning to... Moichi's behavior isn't quite in keeping with an honorable samurai. I'm not sure I trust him, really. So, 204 attack, 180 weight. So I'm going to go with 204 in that case. You grab your swords from Moichi and leap to the attack, as does your retainer. The Shikome are completely surprised. They may not fight back for 2 rounds of combat. Moichi is fighting 1, but you must fight the other 2. Okay. So 6, 6, 7, 5. And I'm fighting both at the same time, I presume now. So let's see, 12. Yeah, I've got 12, 12, 21. Now, of course, I'm using my Yaido, of course, my Yaidutsu, to get the first strike in as well. So, which means that the first, if I attack the one with skill 7 first, so he's going to be down to 2 stamina, because I will not be able to get that first strike in on the second one now, because the battle is already started. So I've got 5 skill point advantage, and he can't really fight back on that. So he rolls, but he rolls an 8. I suppose maybe he can. Will he be able to defend himself or just not fight back? Because those are 2 different things. Anyway, he rolls a 7, I roll an 8, which means that point is quite moot because he's dead. And the second one, let's just say that's normal combat now, because 1 round for the Iaido, the Iaidutsu first strike, and 1 for, which is the second round when I killed him. And I've got 6 skill point advantage. He rolls 7, I roll 6. It's down to 4. He rolls 9, I roll 4. So that means I still hit him. And finally, he rolls 5 and I roll 9. He is also dead. If they are still alive after 6 rounds of combat, turn to 218. Not going to happen in this case. So let's see. So 6, 6, 7, 5, and an asterisk for special rules there. And then we have 2 possibilities. Either 218 or 336. So alive, 6 plus, and dead, 6 minus. Okay. So there we are. So they are dead, and 336. Moichi is wounded, but has killed his opponent. You pause for breath, and Moichi grins at you happily. Well fought, my lord. It is an honor to fight by your side. He bows obsequiously. Enough of this veiled mockery, you reply. On to the heart of the palace. That's a sort of response that means that my character, even if it sort of implies now that he knows that Moichi is not really playing fair, is he? You run down the long corridor and soon find yourself lost in a maze of corridors and rooms, mostly empty save for servants and slaves who stare at you in amazement. You are rounding a corner when you are greeted by a sight that causes you to pull up short in surprise. You have bumped into Lord Tsietzin himself, waddling down the corridor towards you, a samurai at either side. Lord Tsietzin is a large, fat man with great blubbery jaws and a face wreathed in fat. Two pig-like eyes flare at you in outrage. He wears a voluminous kimono adorned with gold leaf. You notice that he is quite openly wearing the hat which indicates the office of shogun. Tsietzin gasps in fear as he recognizes you, signals to his guards, turns around and lumbers away from you. The samurai draw their blades, bow and dash to the attack. Bow and dash, not bow and dash. The bow and dash to the attack. Moichi darts forward and engages one. You must fight the other. So, let's see again. We are going into battle, and this is a 9-8. So, which means that, of course, I get my first strike in. So, first round of combat. So, he is then down to 9-5, and I have my 12-21 still. I've got a 3 skill point advantage. He rolls a 5, I roll 11. He rolls 3, I roll 8. And finally, perhaps he rolls 6 and I roll 6, and he is dead. If you win, turn to 354. So we're going to 354. Okay. Moichi has also killed his opponent, but is slightly wounded. Sheathing your blade, you spring after Lord Tsietzin. Soon you have caught up with him, just in time to see him ducking through a black and gold lacquered door. You and Moichi follow and burst into a largely richly decorated room with a black and gold lacquered chest in one corner. Tsietzin, gibbering in fear, has raised a trapdoor in one corner of the room. When he sees that you will reach him before he can maneuver his vast bulk down it, he falls to his knees before you. Spare me, great warrior, please spare me. It was Ikiru. He forced me to turn against the rightful shogun. Forgive me, I shall be his loyal vassal from now on. He gabbles, a tissue of transparent lies. As you look down, feeling only contempt and loathing, Tsietsin's eyes narrow in cunning malice. His right hand flicks through the air. A needle-like dagger flies from his hand and into your thigh. Lose 3 stamina points. 80. If you're still alive, you stagger back in surprise as he lurches to his feet, drawing his sword. Curse you, you swine, he cries and slashes at you. How very un-Bushido of him. Moichi leaps forward, and within moments, both of you have ended Tsietsin's miserable life. Turn to 366. 366. The traitor, Lord Tsietsin, is dead. The honor of the shogun and of Hachiman has been upheld. Gain 1 honor point. Plus 1 honor. So honor is now 7. Gain 1 honor point for ridding the land of the evil Lord Tsietsin and for killing him in the middle of his own castle. The shogun is avenged, and as are the villagers, says Moichi, who rests, idly watching as you survey the room. Mostly it is full of ornate decoration, but the large chest catches your interest. You quickly open it. Inside is a bag of 100 gold pieces, an arrow, and an excellently crafted suit of samurai armor, obviously too small for the overweight Tsietsin. You don the armor and find it is far superior to your own, especially because it is made out of some unusually light metal. Get 1 luck point. It's not luck I want for getting a new armor, is it? I still haven't used any luck, so that's alright. 100 gold pieces, yeah. 100 gold, I suppose. I'll pick those up, I presume. If you have the skill of Kyujutsu, you recognize the arrow as being crafted by the legendary master of Kyujutsu, Tsunewara, who is reputed to have had magical powers. It is fletched with white eagle feathers. It should have the power of dispelling evil spirits. Note it on your adventure sheet. Okay, that's quite an interesting find, I suppose. So, I'll put arrow there. Magic arrow. Yes, magic arrow. Let's call it magic arrow. Sudden sounds of shouting and the clash of weapons come from outside. Tsietsin's men will be here any minute. Why would there be clash of weapons outside? Is somebody fighting outside? I thought it's just me and Moichi that have been fighting anyone. Why should there be clashing of weapons outside? Doesn't make any sense. You both dart down the open trapdoor and close it behind you. Stairs lead down into Stygian blackness. Stygian or Stygian? Stygian, I suppose. You cautiously descend, turn to 378. Is this where he's going to kill me, is it? The stairs end in a blank wall. As you begin to push, it slides open. Simultaneously, there is a clanging sound. Stepping through the opening, you find yourself in a damp and odorous tunnel. On the left, an iron grill has slammed down, cutting you off from the stairs that climb upward beyond it. You have no choice but to follow the tunnel towards a milky white luminescence at its end. As you and Moichi pace forward, a fetid stench rises in your nostrils. The smell grows stronger. You come out into a large cavern suffused with a sickly pale light, but the source of the light is for the moment indiscernible. Bones, old clothes, and rusted weapons are strewn about. Then you spot it. A huge glowing shape comes towards you. An enormous gaping maw lined with teeth rises up to devour you. Two eyes, massive discs of inscrutable blackness, stare at you, alive with ancient evil. The body, supported by hundreds of black scuttling legs, is bony and segmented. It is a dirty white color, and it is this that gives off the pale glow. It is a mukade, some sort of gigantic 40-foot centipede. And that is quite an evocative description and quite an evocative image as well there. Moichi screams in fear, and you step back in astonishment. It snaps its head forward, striking like a serpent, and bites off Moichi's arm and most of his shoulder in an instant. He moans faintly and topples to the floor. The sight of this fills you with anger and sorrow, but then it ripples towards you, intent on making you its next meal. If you have the skill of Kyujutsu and still have your bow and arrow, you may fire 2 arrows before it is upon you. You will not be able to reclaim the arrows if you win the fight. In any case, you must fight it. So, 720. Okay, so this is quite a formidable foe, I suppose, not in skill but in stamina. I've got 12, 18 now, and this one has 7, and of course I get my first strike again, so it is now 7, 17. I've got a 5 skill point advantage, and he rolls a 5, 8. This might take a little while. 10, 3. Okay, so he hits me. 10, 6. That's me hitting him. 6, 7. 8, 7. 5, 6. It's down to 7 now. 6, 5. He's down to 5. 8, 4. He's down to 3 hit points. 7, 3 is down to 1 hit point. And finally, perhaps he rolls a 5 and I roll a 2, which means he is dead. Okay. And if you win, go to 384. I'll need a sip of water after that. You thrust your sword deep into one of its black eyes, and it rears back, uttering a shrill, burbling shriek. It threshes wildly in its death throes, and you have to leap back out of the way. Presently it subsides and falls dead. And again, in a very nice flavor text for the end of combat, by the way. I really like that. Quickly you rush over to Moichi. He is still alive, but only dust. Blood is oozing like the tide from the gaping wound. His face is pale and his eyes are dimming. At least I died with honor, my liege, and in a noble cause. With that his spirit leaves him. You pause silently in mourning for a while, honoring his memory, but you know you must continue with your mission. I'm feeling a little bit, I'm a little bit too detached, I think, for a samurai. Actually, it should not be that, too attached. It should be more detached from the death of a fellow samurai than this, but yeah, there you go. A search of the cavern reveals an exit at one end and a heaped pile of treasure, mostly bones and old useless weapons. However, you do find 15 gold pieces. Let's see, 15, let's see, 3. Hang on, where am I on? 384. 384. I have to put that up here. Let's see, 384. 15 gold pieces. Let's see, 15 gold. So I've got 115 gold pieces. 15 gold pieces, a shiny silver helmet of ornate workmanship, a bottle of greenish-black eco-like liquid, and a magnificently crafted iron war fan used in battles to signal troops, which is inlaid with a pattern of ivory that makes you feel nauseous to look at it. Or maybe it makes you feel nauseated, I don't know. Will you pick up the war fan and open it, drink some of the liquid, put on the helmet, or leave them all and go through the exit? I don't know. It all sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it? I mean, the fan sounds a bit dodgy. If you makes you a bit sort of nauseated looking at it. The liquid sounds really yicky and yucky and disgusting. The helmet sounds quite tempting. Is this a kind of a double bluff situation where the most disgusting thing is the one that gives you the most benefit? You know what? I'm going to try the helmet because, well, it's probably cursed, isn't it? I'm going to leave them all, actually. I don't feel good about any of those things. I'm going to leave it. Let's see. So there's also a fan, liquid, helmet there. And let's just put up the options, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 222 is leave. 182 is fan. 196 drink. 210 helmet. Okay, I'm gonna leave them all. I don't trust any of those things. 222. The exit tunnel curls upward until you can see a small circle of light ahead from a cave entrance under a rocky overhang on a hillside. The hill slopes down into a shallow valley with a road running its length. It is the main road. You must follow it north to reach Onikaru and Ikiru. Turn to 386. So that was a little sort of circuit there on my map. Let's see if I move the map here. So last time I was going the other way, and I presume that at some point, maybe at this point, this is where they meet up again. Let's see, 380, 222. So 386 is where I'm going. So I'm going to put 386 here. I'm guessing that's probably where this one branches back to this, but I'm going to put that on a new page of my map. So now I'm starting a new map with 386 here at the bottom. So 386. And this is number 2. And this is FF20. Right. It's 20, isn't it? Yes, 20. So 386. Oh, that was quite close. That's just where I was a few moments ago. Okay, you come out of the valley and are faced by a large, forbidding forest stretching away for miles to either side. The road disappears into its depths like a stone into water. You recognize it is as the Forest of Shadows. So, Mirkwood, I suppose. And you must go through it. Turn to 112. Hang on, wasn't there a forest last time? Did I go into the forest last time? Don't recognize the paragraph numbers. I'll have to have a look out for those, but at the moment I am going to 112. You follow the thin woodland trail that winds and bends through the clustered boles of the Forest of Shadows. The trees are so closely packed that only a fraction of the sun's rays filter down in shafts of dusky light filled with motes of dust that float slowly in the air. It is dim and murky, and the sounds of forest life intrude faintly on the edge of your consciousness as you walk on, as if in a waking dream. That's actually quite a good paragraph there. Suddenly you stumble out into a broad clearing, your eyes filled with light. You shake your head to clear it when a sound in the air causes you to look up. A great dragon is floating down towards you. It has a long, sinuous body like a massive serpent, but with four clawed legs. Its head is horned with great, glaring amber eyes. It has no wings, but seems to be walking on air. Of course, Japanese dragons don't have wings, so why do you have to point it out? Okay. It is a tatsu, a wingless dragon that can walk on sky, sea, and land. It settles before you, hovering a few feet off the ground. Its amber eyes regard you placidly. Then it speaks in a rich, deep voice resonant with knowledge and power. Welcome to the heart of the forest, mortal. I am the guardian, and there are certain celestial laws that bind me. It seems to smile at you, if dragons can be said to smile at all. You must answer 2 riddles I shall put to you. If you answer them correctly, you may pass through the forest. If not, well, then I shall eat you. And you cannot run. No one can pass through this forest safely without first dealing with me. Then it laughs as if its last few words were obvious. Turn to 2. Okay. This might be a good place to save my game. Well, man-thing, here is the first riddle. In marble halls as white as milk, lined with skin as soft as silk, within a fountain crystal clear, a golden apple doth appear. No doors are there to this stronghold, yet thieves break in and steal the gold. Yeah, as usual in fighting fantasy, not the best poetry. Started out all right, but waned off towards the end. The Tatsu stares at you in greedy anticipation. When you think you have the answer, take each letter of the answer. Don't count words such as A or the. Convert it to its corresponding number in the alphabet, i.e. a number from 1 to 26. Add them together and turn to that paragraph number. So if the answer was fire, which it isn't, you would turn to 38. F6I9R18E5 equals 38. If the paragraph you turn to is the wrong one, it won't make sense. Turn to 26. Okay, so we have I'll just do a dotted one there because this is a paragraph that isn't directly referred to, and then we have going to 26 if you do the wrong answer. Okay, well, let's have a little look at this riddle now. Oh. Right, my camera stopped there. I'm not sure how many seconds I lost on it, but it probably doesn't matter. So yeah, I'll just to recap. I just put on my map a dotted box here for the reference that I want to go to, and also put in the reference for getting the wrong answer. So let's have a little look now. So in marble halls as white as milk, okay, lined with a skin as soft as silk, so something that is white inside, or a white skin, within a fountain crystal clear, a golden apple doth appear. Okay. No doors are there to this stronghold, yet thieves break in and steal the gold. So somebody breaks in to steal the apple, and there are no doors, and it's sort of a stronghold. And this is probably one of those that is, once you get it, it's sort of, oh, that'll do. That's immediately obvious, isn't it? And if you don't get it, you sort of think, what on earth is that? It sounds very familiar to me. There's something about this that just should be rather obvious. I just have to think about this for a moment. Within a fountain crystal clear. Okay, so there's something that's white, inside which there is something that is clear. And in the clear thing, there is a golden thing. White, clear, gold. And even though there are no doors, somebody is breaking in to steal that gold. And that's just riddle number one. I sort of trying to think along the lines of flowers now, because the white can be white flowers, golden apple, nectar, I don't know. Doesn't quite add up. I mean, the thieves would be like bees or butterflies and nectar feeders. It doesn't feel like that's the right answer, though. Is it more metaphorical in that? Marble holes as white as milk. So it is something that is white. What is white? Snow, flower petals, skin, I suppose, in a metaphorical sense, you could say it's white. But within a fountain crystal clear. This might take a while. I may later have to edit the clip a little bit here, so maybe at some point you'll see it says, oh, 2 hours later or 5 days later. I don't know. And I'm still sitting here racking my brain, sort of wondering what's going on. And it might be dark outside, and yeah. In marble holes as white as milk, lined with a skin as soft as silk. So that sounds like, I mean, lined with a skin as soft as silk. So that means, so well, this can actually be a little bit ambiguous. So it's lined, so that's the inside is soft, and the outside is hard. It's marble. Oh. Maybe it is an egg. That makes sense. So it's a marble hole as white as milk. That's an eggshell. Lined with a skin as soft as silk. That's the membrane on the inside. Within the fountain, crystal clear. That is the egg whites. And a golden apple doth appear. That's the yolk. So it's an egg. Okay. And then I need to translate that into a paragraph number. So we got just A, B, C, D, E, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just do the whole one, F, G. So that's 2. For the next one as well, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, so egg is 5 plus 7 plus 7. So that is 14 plus 5 is 19. Okay, so we are going with egg 19. So 19, egg. Okay. Tatsu seems disappointed. An egg. Yes, that is right, man thing. Then it brightens, the look of greed coming back into its eyes. But can you succeed again, sharp-witted mortal? When one does not know what it is, then it is something. But when one knows what it is, then it is nothing. The same thing again. When you think you have the answer, take each letter, etc. Okay, so that means we can still go to 26, or we go to hidden paragraph number again. When one does, I also feel I've heard something similar to this before. So when one does not know what it is, then it is something. But when one knows what it is, then it is nothing. So what is it that only is something as long as you don't know it, but once you know it, it isn't anything anymore? And this needs to be really unambiguous as well, because it can't just be sort of, right? When one does not know what it is, then it is something. Does not know what it is. I'm sort of feeling like my brain is very close to knowing this one. I just can't really. When one does not know what it is, then it is something. But when one knows what it is, then it is nothing. So, question. You know that it's a question, and it's a question, and when you get the answer, it's no longer a question. That doesn't quite work. 0. You don't know what something. No, that doesn't work either, does it? Nothing itself. No. A mystery, a riddle. A riddle is only a riddle as long as you don't know what it is. When you know what it is, it's no longer a riddle. Okay, maybe I'm getting closer now. Could it be a riddle? It's a possibility, a riddle. When one does not know what it is, then it is something. But it's not like it's not. I mean, the thing is, a riddle, if you don't know what it is something, yeah. But when one knows what it is, then it's nothing. It's still a riddle, even when you know the answer to the riddle. So that is not. If it is riddle, that's the correct answer. That's not quite logically correct. When one does not know what it is, then it is something. Because that's when one does not know what it is, then it is itself. That's the riddle, isn't it? When then it is what it is. When you don't know it, then it isn't what it was. Yeah, still a riddle. Because you know the answer to a riddle, you don't know the answer to something that used to be a riddle, so we can't know. Okay, so again, maybe I'll have to, when I'm making this video, I might have to put up a little text saying 10 hours later, 10 hours, 10 cups of coffee, and a hearty dinner later, for a good night's sleep later, if I need to sleep on it. When one does not know what it is, then it is something. When one knows what it is, then it is nothing. A mystery. Mystery, yeah. Just putting down some words now just in case. There's still nothing that sort of leaps out. It sort of feels right away. So it's about knowing. So what things can you know? That sort of can be known or unknown. The unknown itself, so unknown answer. How to rack one's brain. When one does not know what it is, then it is something. I presume that there's no way to get past this point without answering the riddle correctly, which means that this is a save game point, regardless of whether I get this wrong or not. I will have to start from here again and get the riddle right, I suppose, to move on. So, but this is actually quite a good way to prevent cheating in the game book, because you can't just pretend that you know it and go to the paragraph. You actually have to work quite hard for it. If you decide that you want to cheat, you have to look through the whole book and see if you can find it, which probably is faster, by the way. Riddle. Should I go with riddle just to see if that works? And there's sort of it just doesn't feel quite logical that it should be riddle. But it's sort of the best I've got so far, and if that's not right, then I'll have to try again, I suppose. There's nothing else for it. So riddle is 18 plus 9 plus 4 plus 4 plus 12 plus 5. So that is 27, 31, 35, 47, and 52. Should I go with 52? Give it a go. See, yeah. I don't feel confident that that is the right answer, though. Oh, it was actually correct, yeah. Somebody has circled it. Just so they would find it again, probably. Anyway, the Tatsu stiffens in surprise and frustrated rage. A riddle. Yes, curse you, mortal, it bellows. For a moment you think it's going to attack you, but then it subsides. You have won your passage with honor, and you are free to go. Before you do, listen to my words. If you should find yourself in the tourney of the plains, and it comes to pass that you slay the Dai Oni, invoke the Jizo of demons thus. Asura is here, O Jizo. Come and execute your purpose. Right. Because I have 52 ready. I'll just make a note of that. Let's see, there's a clue. There's a clue. So it is, because sometimes with these clues, you just sort of asked in the book, did you find that clue? And if yes, go to that paragraph, and if not, go to that paragraph. Other times you're actually tested on whether you remember the clue. So in this case, I'm going to write it down. So, so if I'm slay the Dai Oni, so if I slay Dai Oni, if Dai Oni, and then let's say Asura is here. O Jizo come and execute your purpose. It's quite a weird sentence. Okay, so hint. Okay. And that's tourney of the plains. I presume that is something that isn't entirely unlikely to happen. So I don't know yet if this is actually a choke point that you have to get past the dragon and the riddles here, or whether you can get past without getting to those. But if you do, then of course I presume that also getting to Attorney of the Plains is something you have to do. With that cryptic message, the Tatsu takes to the air and is gone. In its place is a dead talisman, shaped like a dragon. You pick it up and examine it. It is a talisman of fortuitous circumstance. Add 2 to your luck. Now, it seems a bit unfair that that should just add luck rather than adding a luck initial luck score, though. To me, anyway. So I'm going to do a house rule there. I'm going to actually increase my luck by 2 points because I have a lucky talisman, and interpret that in the way that I think it makes the most sense. And I've got a talisman. Like so. So clue and talisman, luck plus 2. Okay. You press on through the wood. Go to 82. Eventually you come out of the forest of shadows. In front of you, the track becomes a road that runs across an ancient stone bridge over a river. It is the Hyangkiang River, which also doesn't make any sense in Japanese and sounds like something more from Vietnam or over that place there. And the bridge is the Hagakure Bridge. Beyond it, on the horizon, rise the Shiosei Mountains. As you walk onto the bridge, everything around you changes. It is as if you had stepped into another world. All the landmarks are the same, the bridge, the mountains, and so on, but the sky is darker now. The river to either side of the bridge is red as blood, and skeletal bodies, skulls, bones, and limbs float on its surface. Before you stands a hideous apparition. It is a samurai warrior, but one who has been long dead. A grinning skull rests inside the helmet, and each skeletal hand clutches the sword. The flag attached to its back, adorned with skulls, reads Evil Death. The undead warrior leaps into the air and comes down before you. You must fight it. And this is the guy from the cover, actually. You can see the river there. And I presume that means Evil Death. I don't know those characters. I know that the bottom bit of the character that's meant to mean evil there means heart, so something to do with so evil could be and I'm not sure about that one, but yeah, could be right. If you reduce its stamina to 5 or less, turn to 32. Okay, so let's fight this undead samurai. So I have got 12-18 at the moment. I should eat something soon, actually. 12-18. There we are. Oh, hang on. 12-16. Sorry. I've got 12-16. 12-16. And he has 9-8 after my initial Iaido attack. I keep calling it Iaido because that's Iaijutsu. Yeah. Same difference, really. Okay. So he's got a skill of 9, which means I've only got 3 skill point advantage, which is still pretty good, let's be honest. He rolls 6, I roll 12. He's down to 6. He rolls 6, I roll 3, which is a draw. He rolls 8, I roll 5, which is a draw. He rolls 8, I roll 3, which is him hitting me, and I need to eat something, yeah. He rolls 9, I roll 5. He rolls 3, I roll 7. So, well, I'm not going down, he's going down. Okay, there we are. He rolls 4, I roll 9. And finally, perhaps he rolls 8 and I roll 7. So he is, well, even deader than he was before. Right. Well, hang on. If you reduce the stamina to 5 or less, turn to 32. So that was actually before we got that far. 32. So and then it's 32 stamina 5 minus. Okay. The undead warrior fights in eerie silence. Your last blow shatters one of its skeletal arms and it executes another leap, which takes it out of range. Suddenly it turns virtually invisible until only a reddish outline enables you to determine its position. Then it attacks you again. Continue the fight. But you cannot use Iaijutsu again if you have that skill and subtract 2 from your skill while it is invisible. The first time you hit to go to 58. Okay, so this is an interesting different battle there. Okay, so that means that it's now got 9, 4. I've got 12. No, hang on. For this purpose of this part of the battle, I've got 10, 12. Okay, so that's where we start. I think I lost my last 2 hit points before it got down to 5 hit points. I'm quite sure of that. So I've got 1 skill point advantage now only. So he rolls 10, I roll 3. So I'm down to 10. He rolls 9, I roll 8. That is a draw. He rolls 11. I roll 8, so I'm down to 8. Should have eaten before this battle, shouldn't I? 10, 8. I'm down to 6, 7, 7. Okay, that's me hitting him. So he's down to 2, and we go to 58. Once again, it leaps back to the other end of the bridge. It turns fully visible once more and gives a strange, ululating cry. To your horror, the skeletal bodies floating in the bloody river stir and come to life. 6 of them begin to climb onto the bridge. If you have the skill of Kyujutsu and wish to try to shoot the undead samurai, turn to 134. If not, turn to 242. So we have first hit, and then we have so 1, 3, 4 Kyujutsu or 242. Not okay, so 242. The animated skeletons are heaving themselves onto the bridge. If you have the skill of Karumijutsu and wish to sprint forward and attempt to leap over the undead samurai to the other side of the river, turn to 262. If not, or you do not wish to try it, the skeletons charge at you. Turn to 358. Okay, so you've got 3, 5, 8, or if you have Karumijutsu, we go to 262. Okay, so 358 it is. 3, 5, 8. There are 6 skeletons animated by the undead samurai, but only 3 of them can get at you at a time. You must fight them all at once. And yeah, I think I'll probably sort of consider my game saved before I got to this point, because eating something would have made a difference actually. And I don't really feel like doing the beginning over again, presuming that is the right path. So, because this is not going to go well at all, most likely. I've got 6 hit points left. So, we have first battle. I've got 12, 6, and we've got 1, 6, 7, 1, 7, 6, and 1, 7, and I'll do one of the 7s once with do the 7, 7 is the one I'm going to attack first, so I'm going to use my Iaijutsu on that one. So I'm going to, so it's going to be 7, 4 actually. Right, so let's do this. So maybe because I'm fighting 3 at the same time now, it will be easier to actually do rolling for me first. and then the others, just to make it less confusing. No, yeah, I'll still have to roll for each individual pair, don't I? Hang on, I just have to restart my camera as well. Actually, my camera is about to run out of memory card, which means that I will have to do this battle after a break. So there'll be a little break, but I'll be back very soon. Boom. Okay, here we are back from our little break. And I've got a cup of tea as well. All is well with the world, apart from the fact that I'm almost about to die here. Okay, so where were we? Yeah, we were about to fight 3 skeletons. I'm just going to do one of the sets of skeletons at a time here. I'll bring out the book when I have finished that first battle, and I'll find the other one. Okay, so I was going to attack the skeleton here with 7-4 left now after my Iaijutsu attack. So I've got a 5 skill point advantage. He rolls first. He rolls 11. I roll 11, so I hit him again. So that's another 2 points of damage. Maybe I should use luck. Should I use luck? I'll use luck as well. Okay, so I roll a 6. I'm down to 9. So he's dead. The other 2 skeletons are still trying to attack me and injure me, so I've got a 6 skill point advantage. He rolls 6, I roll 11. Second one, 5 skill point advantage. He rolls 10, I roll 8, so I'm fine with those. And from the description, as I was fighting the samurai now, it sounds like sometimes you can actually use your Iaijutsu again as well. I'm just wondering, I'll just see what the description says now, because it doesn't make sense to me that I would be able to use fast draw against every opponent in a multi-opponent fight. It's the first round of combat, isn't it? Let's see if I can find the... Because it's no longer the first round of combat, really. So yeah, so I'll just obviously I can't do Iaijutsu on the other ones. Okay, so the second one I'm going to attack is the one with 7 skill now. So I want to get rid of the ones with the highest skill first. That is usually the best strategy. So I've got a 5 skill point advantage. He rolls 7, I roll 6. So he's down to 4. The other skeleton is trying to attack me. He rolls 9, I roll 5. And that is good enough for me to defend myself. Second round now. He rolls 7. I roll 7. So that's him down 2 more points. Should I use luck again to get him out of the way? I will. Okay, so I roll 9, which is my luck, and then he is dead. Second skeleton, still have to defend myself against it. He rolls 12. I roll 7, so that is not enough for him to injure me. Okay, so 1 skeleton left of the first set of 3. 6 skill point advantage now. He rolls 8. I roll 3. He's down to 5. He rolls 10. I roll 6. He is down to 3. He rolls 2, I roll 8, he's down to 1 hit point, and finally he rolls 7 and I roll 11 and he is dead. Well, deader, because he's a skeleton, of course. Now I have to find my paragraph again. Let's see, which one was it now? Yes, 358, so this is the, battle skeletons. What was 262? I just have to check now so I can make sure my map is accurate and comprehensive, because I want to. So that was if you have Karumijutsu. This is Karumijutsu. Jutsu. That's the one there. Okay, so next set of skeletons is harder than the first set, which probably means I should have saved my luck points now, but right. So we've got 7, 6, 6, 7, and 8, 9. I will try to fight the one with the highest skill first again, and I use my Yai Jutsu on him, so he's now got 8, 6 as we get into the first round of battle. And yeah, I'll just have to hope for the best. So I've got 4 skill point advantage. He rolls 5, I roll 5, so he's down to 4. The other ones, I've got a 5 skill point advantage, 5, 11, and 6 skill point advantage, 9, 8. Okay, everything's fine there. Next round, he rolls 3, I roll 4. He's down to 2, saving my luck, I think, now. Next one rolls 8, I roll 6, that's fine. Next one rolls 6, I roll 7, that's fine. I defend myself successfully against those. Then he rolls 7, and I roll, hang on, did I read that right? Yeah, and I roll an 8. I may have misread a 10 there, but still that doesn't make a difference. He is dead than he was before. Next one rolls 8, 10, yeah, I'm fine. 6, 8, I'm fine. Okay. So next skeleton, I've got a 5 skill point advantage. He rolls 6, I roll 3, so he's down to 4. Defending myself against the second one there now. 5, 12, yeah, very good defense actually. Next round, 9 versus 9. He's down to 2 hit points. 9 versus 6 for the second one, and that's successfully defending myself. Next round, 3, and I roll 7, so he is also deader than he was before. Defending myself, 5 and 11, yeah. And now the last skeleton, he rolls 7, I roll 4, so I'm hitting him, and he's down to 5. 4 and 3, he's down to 3 hit points. 2 and 9, 1 hit point, and finally perhaps 6 and 6, and he is also dead than he was before. Okay, that was quite a battle. So that's 6, 7, 7, 6, 7, 7, 7, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, and of course if you don't have a good skill, this is going to be nigh on impossible. If you defeat these 3, turn to 368. 3, 6, 8. The shattered remnants of the skeletons lie strewn about you. The undead samurai closes in silence to do battle for the last time. Didn't he have just 2 hit points left earlier? He hasn't healed, has he? That is... I'm not very happy about that, if that is what I think it is. So he's got the... Which one is he again? 9, 3, 1. It's supposed to have 1 hit point left, actually. If I'm reading this correctly now. Hang on. 12, 7, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2. He's supposed to have 2 left. So yeah, I'm only supposed to need to hit him once more actually to kill him. Let's see. So if I don't get him on the first hit, then I'll Right. So I'll put this up on my thing as well here. So 12, 6, and 9, 3. So 3 skill point advantage. He rolls a 7. I roll a 7. He's down to 1, and technically now he should be dead. He rolls a 3, and I roll a 4, and he is now dead again, as dead can be. Hopefully. If you kill it, it falls to the ground and begins to dissolve. The sky lightens and the redness fades from the river. Among the remains of the undead samurai, you notice an ivory horn of fine workmanship inlaid with silver tracery depicting a saber-toothed tiger. You pick it up and walk on. Turn to 211. Okay, so this is 211. And this is where I eat because I want to get up to, let's see, I've got 6 stamina left, and I want to eat myself up to 22 maybe. So 7 provisions. Hang on, that can't be right, can it? No. That's sorry, my brain can't calculate now. It's on two battle fatigue. Certainly, it's battle fatigue. I want to get my stamina up. Let's say for 12, 4, 16 points, which is 4 provisions. Okay, so I've got 6 provisions left, and my stamina is now 22. That's all right. Okay. And I picked up a ivory horn. So ivory horn. Okay. And a cup of victory tea there. Oh. Right. 211. Okay. This is probably a good place to save my game again as well, in terms of perhaps starting to play here from next time, quite possibly. So I will make a little note here, as this is sort of a good save game point. At this moment, I am 12, so 23 and 22, and then it's 8, 10, and 8, and honor is 7, provisions 6, on luck, stamina, skill, provisions. I've got ivory horn, talisman, tourney of the plains clue, and that is from paragraph let's make a note of that actually, so I can just go back to it. Where is it now? Clue, there we are, 52. So that's from 52. And EI Jutsu. Okay, so then I can sort of have that as a save game there. 115 gold as well. 115 gold. Okay, so that's all the things I have, and so I can sort of save my game there and start over from there if I need to next time. Okay. You follow the road to the mountains and the lair of Ikiru. The day passes uneventfully, and you spend the night under the stars. What's the ivory horn, by the way? Ivory horn. You may restore up to 2 stamina points. Okay, so we get +2. Hang on. Ivory horn is not from that one. It's from this one. Ivory. Hang on, did I miss a paragraph there? 368 is... Oh, no, actually, that was the same. Okay, so 3 ivory horn is from this paragraph, and here I got +2 stamina from this paragraph, which means I could technically then just do 1 less portion of food. Oh, never mind. So 23. Right. You may restore up to 2 stamina points. Yes, you press on, leaving the road until you come to the Shiosei Mountains. A goat track climbs up one of the largest mountains, and you decide to follow it. Turn to 8. So we got 8. You are slowly working your way up the mountainside when a tingling sensation, like an itch on your brain, causes you to pull up short. You look up, and suddenly an imposing figure stands before you, dressed in fine robes and armor of silver and gold. It is a tall, muscular, man-like being. Its face is handsome to look upon, clean and pure, but it is the purity of complete evil. Its eyes burn with violet flame, and its whole being radiates power and malice. It is a Dai-Oni, or greater demon. Dai means big, great, large in Japanese. Dai-Oni means great. Oni, whatever Oni means, which is, well, demon. So, big demon, greater demon. So, mortal, you would seek entry to the domain of Ikiru, master of shadows, it says, its words resonant with strength. To do so, you must defeat me in the tourney of the plains. Then the Dai-Oni begins to fade, laughing maniacally, the laughter echoing like thunder all around you. Suddenly you find yourself in open space. In every direction stretch the endless stars. That's this picture here. And your mind reels as you try to take it all in. Then your vision fixes on the doors, bringing you back from the edge of madness. You are surrounded by 8 doors, one in each of the walls of an octagonal room, but the walls, ceiling, and floor are transparent. Then the voice of the Dai-Oni fills your head. This place is called the Hub. Behind each door lies some powerful beast. You must try to win as many of these creatures over to your cause as you can. They will then aid you in battle. For when you are ready, you will have to face me and my allies in a struggle to the death at the place of battle. If somehow you should triumph, then you may enter the pit of demons and there meet your fate at the hands of Ikiru. So let it begin, and may fortune desert you and the blight of 1,000 sores be visited upon you. The voice fades. It seems you have no choice but to play the tourney of the plains. Each door is labelled. Which door will you go through first? Okay, so this is quite a strange thing, I suppose. I'm beginning to wonder if this game is getting to this spot, doing this, and then that's the end game. After that, when you have to face Ikiru and you have a certain number of allies because you've won these battles. Is that it? Because if it is, then I'm not sure I'm enjoying the structure of the book so much. But let's see. It's still not too bad. It's got some nice things about it. Right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, obviously. Let's just do them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we got 30, 68, 66, 78, 98, 110, 126, 138. And these places are called the pinnacle of ultimate height, the elder plains, the mountain of ineffable holiness, the endless sands of Hakon, the swamps of primordial Maya, the eternal tower, the enchanted wood, or the place of battle. Some terrible names there. Okay. Shall I just do them in order? I mean, if this fails, I'll go back and start just before this point anyway. That's to start with number 30, the pinnacle of ultimate height. You open the door marked the pinnacle of ultimate height. The next thing you know, you are standing on a thin pinnacle of rock. High in a strange yellow sky, an orange sun burns overhead. Far below, the ground is a dark red color. From horizon to horizon, tower thousands of these pinnacles, but you are standing on the highest. Behind you, a door hangs in the air, a gate through the worlds to the hub. A speck appears in the sky and grows larger as it nears you. It turns out to be a Tatsu, a wingless, air-riding dragon. It has a massive serpent-like body with 4 taloned legs, and it seems to be walking on air. If you have encountered the Tatsu in the Forest of Shadows already, turn to 144. If not, turn to 156. Okay, so and I have encountered the Tatsu in the Forest of Shadows. So 144 and 156. Not Tatsu before. Question mark. I have met a Tatsu before, so 144. There we are. The Tatsu is the one from the forest. It recognizes you and halts before you. If you have a jade amulet fashioned in the shape of a dragon, turn to 12. If not, turn to 166. I do have an amulet. Was it? It wasn't in the shape of a dragon, was it? I don't think so. It's not an amulet, actually. It's a talisman. Yeah, okay, so that's not the same thing, is it? Ish, sort of. Okay, so we have 2 options, and that is amulet 12, amulet, or 166. No amulet. I have no amulet. Okay, so 166. It speaks in a thunderous voice. You thought you had slain me, but I am far more powerful than you could ever have imagined, mortal. Why would I slay it? There's a continuity error here because I didn't attack the Tatsu. I just asked me riddles and let me on my way. But I'm far more powerful than you could have imagined, mortal. The Tatsu eyes, glowing with baleful orange light, swoops closer, opens its mouth, and breathes a thin stream of flame at you. You duck, but you cannot avoid it completely without falling off the pinnacle, and it singes you painfully. Lose 4 stamina points. Okay. -4 stamina. Okay, so I am down to 19. The Tatsu turns for another attack. You decide you cannot fight from this exposed position. You open the door, suspended behind you, and return to the hub. Turn back to 8 and choose again, but you cannot choose an option you have chosen already. Okay, so it seems that unless you have the jade amulet of a dragon, there's no point going through door number 30. Okay. So the next one up is 68. You step through the door marked the Elder Plain. Before you stretches a breathtaking vista, a grassy plain studded with low hills and copses. Stretches away in all directions under a bright blue sky. The air is the freshest and purest you have ever breathed. Nearby, a strange primitive-looking deer bounds past. Directly behind you, a door hangs in the air, the return route to the hub. Then a massive animal appears. It is a huge saber-toothed tiger. There is no such thing. A saber-toothed cat, yes. Tigers, no. Okay. It stares fixedly at you and breaks into a lope, which soon speeds up into a full-fledged run. What will you do? Take out the Phoenix Ruby, if you have it. So that is the item you need for this one, probably. Fire an arrow at the tiger, if you have that skill. Blow a horn. Oh, hang on, there is a horn. If you have one, or step back through the door. Okay. So, I do have a horn. Okay, so and this takes it back to, let's see, it's back to 8. And this also goes back to 8. So we got options. 224, arrow, 214, phoenix ruby. That doesn't seem the obvious thing to me to use against a saber-toothed cat, does it? Okay. Or horn. Okay, so I'm going to try blowing the horn in that case. 234. 2, 3, 4. You put the ancient horn to your lips and blow an ear-shattering blast that echoes across the plain. The tiger stops abruptly, then it pads slowly towards you in an attitude of curiosity rather than hunger. It is as tall as you are, but all it does is lick your face affectionately. You get the impression it thinks you are somebody else, presumably the original owner of the horn. But all that is lost in legend. For now, you know it will be waiting to aid you at the place of battle. Note this on your adventure sheet. The tiger looks at you with unnaturally intelligent eyes as you step back through the door to the hub. Okay, so horn. So horn is the correct thing there. Presumably the amulet is the correct thing there. Just going to put that in green as well. Okay, so I've got a tiger, so saber-toothed tiger. Toothed cat. I'll put saber-toothed cat on my character sheet. Right. Okay. Next option. Maybe I should look at the options again just to see if there's any clue. Because I thought there's nothing in the options that actually sort of clues me to what might work with what I've got. Place of battle is the last one, of course. That's the one I want to go to last when I've done all the other ones. Let's just keep running through this now. So I'm going to go to 66. You step through the door marked the Mountain of Ineffable Holiness. You are standing at the base of a tall mountain peak, easily climbed, but the climb would be long and exhausting. There is no visible means of leaving this place. You have little choice but to go up. At last, you heave yourself over the lip onto a flattish area at the top of the mountain. You gasp in surprise at the sight that greets you. A strange being of noble stature, radiating an aura of grace and power, looks down at you. Its eyes twin orbs of flame. It has a horse's body with a lion-like head and huge feathered wings. It is the Kirin, a servitor of the gods, a creature of wisdom, a representative and warrior of law and goodness. It looks you up and down for a moment. If your honor is 5 or more, turn to 340. Okay, so this is a good creature, which means it will be on my side if my honor is good enough, which is it is. So we have 340. Okay, so this is where having done all those battles in the beginning that gave me honor is a good thing. So 352 honor -5, 340 honor 5 plus. And my honor is 7, so I'm very honorable. And I'm going to 340. The Kirin gazes at you benevolently, filling you with peace and tranquility. Your cause is a just one, mortal, and you are a worthy choice for its completion. You are of good heart. Because of this, I shall aid you. I will be at the place of battle to fight with you against the Dione and his evil allies. Its voice is lovely to listen to. You are about to thank it when it utters a wild cry and takes to the air, leaving you alone. A door appears, hanging in the air before you. You step through it and find yourself back in the hub, surrounded by stars and the 8 doors. Okay, so now we got keyed in as well. Key it in. So I can go through a door again. So that is for this one you need honor 5+. That's what you need to go through that door. Let's go to 78. You step through the door marked the endless sands of Hakon. Instantly, beads of sweat appear on your forehead as your body is assailed by a terrible heat. Below, a yellow sky in which hangs a sun larger than you have ever seen stretches mile upon mile of desert, the endless sands of Hakon. Behind you hangs a door, the way back to the hub. Suddenly, a harsh cry, an ear-splitting shriek fills the air. A strange bird is arrowing down out of the sky. It is larger than the largest eagle, and its eyes are red and glowing. Its feathers are gold and metallic looking, but the strangest thing of all is that yellow flame seems to play lightly all over it, without consuming it. It is a phoenix. If you have the phoenix ruby, turn to 348. If not, well, that's the wrong color. If not, turn to 360. So I do not have the phoenix ruby. Okay, let's see. So we have 348. Phoenix ruby, question mark, or 360 not. So clearly the Phoenix Ruby is what you want to get an ally here. Let's see if hopefully not something too terrible happens if I... Okay. The Phoenix swoops dangerously close to you. Suddenly it bursts into flame, becoming for an instant a golden fireball. And you're singed by its flames. Lose 2 stamina points, -2 stamina. So I'm down to 17. I'll need to eat something soon. If you still live, will you fight the Phoenix or try to run back through the door hanging behind you? Okay. Is there any advantage to be gained from fighting the Phoenix, I wonder? So we have... so 372 fight or 390 return. Let's fight it, shall we? The Phoenix does not try to peck or claw you. Instead, it tries to swoop close enough to immolate itself and bathe you in flames. Each time it hits you, roll 1 die and subtract 1 from the result. This is the amount of stamina you have lost from the flames. Note that you may not lose any stamina if you're lucky. Okay, okay, that's quite a tricky fight actually. So 9, 7. Okay, so let's do this. I'm using my EI Jutsu, of course. So it starts with 9, 4, and I have 12, 17. And hopefully it doesn't hit me because I can do a lot of damage. So he rolls 7, I roll 9. That's me getting first strike there. Maybe I should use luck and see if I can kill it outright. Or do I want to save my luck for something else? I'll take my chances. Okay. So he rolls 4 and I roll 6, and that means he is dead. So that wasn't too difficult. So if you win, go to 36. 36, and of course a little asterisk there on the battle because of special rules. The Phoenix's eyes dull and its flames flicker and go out. It falls before you. all life expunged, but then suddenly it erupts into flame once more. But this time it is consumed in the fire until only ashes remain. Then, incredibly, another phoenix, smaller this time, bursts out of the ashes. It pauses in the air to give a scream of exultation before taking to the skies and disappearing, to your relief. Amazed at what you have seen, you stand in thought for a moment before turning round and leaving through the door. You find yourself back at the hub. Return to 8 and choose again. Okay, so we are back at, so let's see, 8. 8, and the only way apparently to get the Phoenix is to have the Phoenix Ruby, of course, which I didn't find in this playthrough. Next door is 98. But maybe I should eat something first. I'll eat 1 provision. I'm down to 5, and I got 21 stamina left. 98, yes. You find yourself standing on the low hummock of solid earth. Around you lies a great swamp. It bubbles and heaves, a morass of stinking mud and thick liquid. Twisted trees and plants struggle up out of the mess. A door hangs behind you in space. Excuse me, the route back to the hub. Suddenly, a tremendous serpent with eyes glittering like black diamonds, I presume that's this very lovely looking picture here, bursts out of the mire and rears up before you, ready to whip its head down and bite you in 2. If you wish to fight the serpent, turn to 246. If you'd rather try to use an item against it, turn to 258. So we have 2 options again. So 246 fight or 258 item. Now I don't have that many items, do I? So I've got the horn and I got the talisman. And that's it, actually. So a talisman of luck. I don't really have an item I can use. Shall I still pick the item one just to see what it's looking for? 258, what is the item? What will you do? Try to touch the serpent with an antler, if you have one. That might be the clue, actually, to it. So, antler. Okay. So 290 antler. Blow a horn if you have one. 318. 318 horn. I'll try to use the Phoenix Ruby in some way if you have it. Turn to 328. So 28 ruby. That doesn't sound like this. Like using the horn or the antler should work, because the horn was for another creature. It would seem strange if that worked for both, to me. I'll just save my game now in case something terrible happens and just see. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. If you have none of these items, turn to 246, which is the battle again. So I am going to have to fight it, I guess, and go to 246. So I presume, I'll just put a note here that it's the antler that is going to be the important item here. Although I'm not sure if that's going to pacify it and make me an ally, or whether it's just going to make me defeated easily, but it's the antler that must be the right item there. 246. The great serpent, wide as a tree, tries to bite off your head. You have no choice but to fight it. And if you win, go to 272. So let's see, 272. Like so. So 272 win. And this is a 10-10 creature. So that's quite a formidable foe. So it's got 10-7 because of my first strike, and I've got 12-21. Okay, so I've got a 2 skill point advantage. He rolls 9, I roll 3. Not a good start. 7 and 9. He's down to 5. 2 and 10. He's down to 3. 9 and 10. He's down to 1 and 2 and 7. He is dead. Okay, so he got 1 hit in on me. That's not too bad. I'll take 1 provision and get back up to 23 stamina. And I win. I go to 272. The dead serpent sinks slowly into the mire. Some sleek, submerged predator slams into the carcass and begins to consume it as you watch. There is nothing else of interest, so you decide to return to the hub. Return to 8 and choose again. Okay, so, well, looks like we're almost going through the whole series now. 110 next. You step through the door marked the Eternal Tower. Everything changes. You're standing at the top of a fortified tower. Battlements surround you. The terrain around you is constantly changing. Sometimes wood, sometimes plains, blue sky, red sky, and so on. As if the tower were shifting from plane to plane and world to world. In front of you stands a massive warrior, his face bearded and mature, a veteran of many battles. His armor is strange and outlandish to you. It covers him from head to foot, so it's got this kind of armor that you'd expect to see in the rest of Titan. Behind him stand 8 others, their faces visored and hidden. Their armor is gold, with a white surcoat covered in blue circles. The man speaks. Welcome to the Eternal Tower, contestant. We are the Knights of the Golden Company, and if you wish us to aid you in the tourney of the plains, you must answer me this. Do you return to us the war fan of our king? So actually the fan is the correct item to pick up earlier. I'll just make a note of that too. So let's see, the fan there is the correct item to pick. If you have a war fan with a symbol of 9 gold arrows, a blue circle, and a white background, is there more than one war fan in this game? I don't think so. If you have a war fan, that should do, shouldn't it? Turn to 186 if you do not turn to 200. Okay, so we have... okay, so 200 not and 186 fan. And that is the fan. Clearly that is the correct item for this door. I don't have it. I'll go to 200 and hopefully I won't have to fight. Doesn't sound like it really. The knight's face falls when he sees you have no idea what he is referring to. Another wanderer. That does not bring us what we seek, he mutters. Begone. We will not aid you. May the demon lord devour you. Well, at least he didn't fight me or anything. With that, you find yourself back at the hub, surrounded by stars and the 8 doors. May as well do the last one. 126. You open the door marked the Enchanted Wood and step through. You find yourself in a wooded glade. It is strangely quiet, as if no woodland creatures frolicked in this wood. The air is heavy with sorcery. You can almost smell it. You know that if you were to travel in this wood, you would become lost in moments, perhaps forever. Behind you hangs the door to the hub, and you resolve to leave it in sight. Just then, a young woman dressed in rich robes of green steps into the clearing. Her beauty is astounding, but her eyes seem empty and listless. She stares at you vacantly. Oddest of all, a nimbus of crackling blue energy plays about her hands. You ask her who she is and if she will aid you against the Dai Oni. Who am I? I no longer know. As for my aid, that is not lightly won, she says, her brows knitted in puzzlement, as if it is hard for her to speak. Will you attack her and try to force her to help you, or try to use some item you think may be of use? How do you force someone to help you by attacking them? Right. She seems to be under some kind of enchantment. Actually, I'm thinking She's wearing a helmet that looks a bit wonky. I think that maybe she's wearing a cursed helmet. Maybe if I attack her, I can knock it off. Anyway. Let's see, 48 item question mark or 60 attack. Okay, I'll have a look at items first. She stares at you quizzically. What item will you try to use? A horn, a potion of waters of knowledge, a helmet of befuddlement. If you have none of these, turn to 130. So let's see, we've got options. Um, 86 horn, 96 potion, water knowledge, or 114 helmet. Maybe that's the helmet I found earlier together with a fan. The one that didn't, the one that looked the least dodgy of the things. Horn is all I've got, so let's try the horn. You put the horn to your lips and blow an ear-shattering blast, but all the woman does is clap her hands over her ears and shriek in pain before running away into the forest. If you wish to follow her, turn to 70. Sounds like a bad idea. Otherwise, you can step through the door and return to the hub. I was told right away now that I might get lost if I go into the forest. Now, I'm going to save my game now in case this could be an insta-death paragraph actually coming up. I'll have a look anyway. Some call it cheating. I call it enjoying the game. Yeah, as I suspected, it is an insta-death. Okay, so I just had to have a look at that. And that is actually the first one I've seen. That is the end. So I just had to check that out. I'm not going to follow her then, obviously, and I'm going to go back to start the battle, really, because that's all I can do. I've got 2 allies. I've got the Kirin and the saber-toothed cat, which is better than nothing. 138. You have decided you are ready to face the Dai-Oni and his allies. So you open the door marked the place of battle, which is a really terrible name for it, isn't it? So boring. And step through. You find yourself in a huge arena, but all the tiered seats are empty. It appears they have been that way for millennia. But as you appear, ghostly figures seem to materialize in the seats. Men and women of a bygone age, talking, gesticulating, laying bets on the outcome of the battle, as if they had been waiting for this moment for eons, even in death. As you stand on the sandy arena floor, those allies you had noted on your adventure sheet appear behind you, each saying or silently imparting a message of reassurance and support. If you have not managed to win any allies, then you stand alone. Before you stands the Dai-Oni. It is wondrous to look upon, save for its face, which is radiant with evil. Behind it are ranged 3 monsters, its allies. The first is an enormous giant toad being, slimy and warty, with a mouth almost as large as its head. The second is a giant insect, not unlike a grotesquely huge praying mantis. In plated armor of chitin, well, that is what insects are wearing all the time. Its mandibles working horribly. Working horribly? Okay. The third is a huge 15-foot man of bronze with the legs of a goat. Its bronze skin is green and pitted with age. However, its eyes are 2 orbs of red flame glowing with power. The Dai-Oni laughs maniacally and says, "At least you managed to reach the place of battle, mortal, but you will not leave it alive. These," and it gestures at its followers, "are my demon friends. Gralsh, devour," it says. The enormous toad thing hops forward. The ghostly crowd seems to roar in anticipation. If you have no allies, turn to 254. If you do, they wait expectantly for your command. Somehow you seem to know that the rules of the arena dictate that battles can only be between single entities. Who will you send against the toad being? Obviously, you may send only those beings you have recorded as allies. Okay, so this is where I probably will do a new sheet of paper for my map here, just in case this gets messy. So, and there are lots of options now. And this explains why the rest of the book until this point isn't that elaborate, because that means that the 8 doors and this battle is actually taking up a lot of space in the book. I'm not sure that's a good thing, actually, to be honest, because then it becomes a book that's all about that battle rather than being about the quest and the adventure to get there. Anyway. So this is number 3, FF20, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 options for our 1, 2, let's put them all down here, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we got 1, 4, 6, key it in, 1, 7, 2, Saber, let's call it Saber, 1, 6, 2, Eleanor, the Enchantress, 1, 8, 4, Golden Company, 1, 9, 4, Phoenix, 208, Tatsu, and 228, the wooden rod engraved with a serpent shape. Okay, rod. Let's have to double check now. I didn't get anything from that Tatsu in the forest that I missed. Oh, I misread that thing. It is a jade talisman shaped like a dragon, but I got a bit confused because it was called amulet later. So that means that in my encounter with the... okay, so I didn't play that out right. So in my encounter with the Tatsu, I do have the amulet. It's actually the talisman. It was described as a talisman there and as an amulet here. Okay, so I'll just do that before I do this now. Okay, so we have... So the Tatsu thunders, you have managed to get as far as the tourney of the plains, mortal. Well done. I have decided to help you in your battle against the Dai Oni, for I too wish to see Ikiru, Master of Shadows, slain. When you step through the portal to the place of battle, I shall be there to fight for you. Okay, so I've got the Tatsu as well, because I misread the thing earlier. Which also means I got 4 more stamina points, by the way. So that means I got 1 more provision, actually. So I got 5 provisions left. So we have, not that probably matters so much. So, yes, let's get back to 138. So that means I got 3, 138. So I got 4 opponents now, and I got 3 companions that can help me fight them. So that means I got 1 companion, I suppose, for each of the 3 of the Dai Oni's henchmen, which could be useful. But is the order of them relevant? I don't know. Maybe some of them are better at fighting some than others are. There might be something to do with that as well. So let's see, what should I choose for the toad? What should I save for the other ones? I can't fight them myself until I run out of allies, I suppose. There's also an option. Oh yes, there's another option now. If you have no allies, 2554. I was just about to ask, is there no option for not having any allies? 254, no allies. course, there has to be an option for that too. That also means I don't have the option of not using an ally and fighting the henchman myself and saving the ally for the last battle. I have to fight that myself. Okay. So, first ally against Toad. So we want which are the strongest of my allies? I've got a Kirin, I've got a saber-toothed tiger, and a Tatsu. They all sound quite strong to me. Saber-toothed tiger. Should we go with the saber-toothed tiger for the first battle? 172, and I need to drink some water. The tiger races forward and roars menacingly. The toad thing hops back uncertainly. Gralch, the toad demon, snaps its head forward to strike, its great maw snapping, but the huge tiger dodges aside, moving with incredible swiftness, and lays open the toad's side with a sweep of one of its great taloned claws. Then it proceeds to rip and tear the wailing Gralch into shreds. After its task is completed, the tiger leaps into the air and then fades out of existence, as if it had jumped to another plane. Remove it from the list of allies on your adventure sheet. The Daimoni bellows in rage and shouts, "Krlk! Slay the man-thing!" What's with all these strange names? Well, these are demons. I guess they can have strange names if they want to. Okay, so that's the saber-toothed cat has done its job. And then we have 3 options now. I'm interested to see that the 3 options here, they don't cover all the possible options of the first tier of battle. Does that mean that some of them can only be used for the first one and not for the other ones? That's a bit interesting. Anyway, the second battle now is Kirin, Golden Company, or Tatsu. Okay, so 278, Kirin, 304, Golden, I'll just put Golden, and 294, Tatsu. Okay. So this is against the Mantis. Who would be best suited to fight against the Mantis? The dragon? Should I go with the dragon? Tatsu? Yeah, I'll go with the dragon, 294. The Tatsu gallops into the air and dives straight at Krlk. Just as the mantis demon rears back to strike, the Tatsu breathes a stream of flame from its mouth that engulfs the mantis demon, which burns like straw and is reduced to ashes within seconds. It does sound like some particular allies now are the perfect ones for a certain opponent, and if you pick the wrong one, maybe the outcome might not be as fortuitous as it is for me now, because I picked the right ones, it sounds like. The Tatsu breathes a stream of flame from its mouth that engulfs the mantis demon, which burns like straw and is reduced to ashes within seconds. The Tatsu turns to you. "Farewell, manling, and good fortune. I must leave you now." With that, it rides away into the skies. The ghostly crowd seems to applaud as if from a great distance. The Daimoni is almost apoplectic. Yes, that's the word I'm going for. Apoplectic with rage. "Kill, Gargantus, kill," he screams, and the huge bronze goatman lumbers forward. If you are now without allies, turn to 364. Otherwise, which ally will you commit now? Use only those listed on your adventure sheet, the Kirin or the Golden Company. Tatsu works really well here on 294, and then we are moving on to, let's just move that up here now. And give us 3 options. So we are using 364, no allies, 382, Kirin or 198 Golden Company. Okay. Was there no option for no allies on the first one there? I just have to check now just to see if I missed that. Yes, 266 actually. So there's another option for having no 266. No allies. Okay. That is the last option. Okay, so Kirin, of course, that's the only one I got left. So I'm going to 382. Just going to map this out properly now. So we do like so. 382. Sounds like the best option I would have, apart from the Golden Company, perhaps. Yeah, that is not the correct. That is the best ally to fight the Gargantus is not the Kirin. So the Kirin flies into the air, its hoofs wreathed in flame and arrows towards Gargantus. Gargantus looks at it, and twin lancing bolts of ruby light hurtle from its eyes and hit the Kirin with explosive force, killing it instantly. If you are now without allies, you will have to fight Gargantus alone. Turn to 364. If you have Eleanor the Enchantress as your ally, turn to 22. If you have the Golden Company as your allies, turn to 198. Okay, so the Kirin is not the right ally for this one, but the other ones definitely were. So let's put a green frame around those. And then we get so 364. Okay, so that is there. 22 and 198. Okay, so we have 22 Eleanor, who is back as an option, and 198 Golden Company, which I could have had if I picked up the fan. Golden Company. Okay, but I don't have any allies left. 364. I have to fight this monster myself. His eyes blaze and twin bolts of ruby light lance at you. You only just manage to avoid them. Now you must fight Gargantus, the bronze giant. Every third combat round, Gargantus fires ruby red bolts at you from his eyes. When this occurs, roll 1 extra die. If it is even, you have dodged the bolts. If it is odd, you have been hit and must lose 4 stamina points. Okay, and that's an extra attack as well. So we have 364. Okay, so it's 912 with an asterisk for special rules. And let's see how this works now. I'll have to do a page over here to make room for this battle. So at the moment I am at, okay, so I'm 1223 still. And Gargantus, he has 9, and of course he loses 3 hit points because I get the first automatic Iaijutsu attack in. And then every 3 rounds I have to remember to roll for the extra attack as well. So first round, I've got 3 skill point advantage. Let's get started. Let's get rolling, I suppose. Yeah. 4-6. I hit him the first time. And now the question is, should I use extra luck so I can avoid his using his... I'm going to try testing my luck there to do extra damage. But 8 luck though, only 8. It's a bit risky. But not so much because, yeah, I'm going to try using my luck. Or maybe I should save it for the last battle, actually. Okay, I'm going to save it for the last battle. So it's down to 7. The thing is, I could have... the thing is, if I got a 50-50 chance of losing 4 extra stamina, and if I use luck, I can prevent that for stamina loss from happening. Maybe I'll save it for the 3rd round. Yeah, okay, so next round, 2nd round, he rolls a 5, I roll 8, so he's down to 5. 3rd round, and we first do the attack and then we do the Actually, that wouldn't have been enough to get rid of the attack. He still gets to attack once, doesn't he? So, yeah, I miscalculated a little bit there. He rolls 9. I roll 6, which is a draw, and then he gets to use his eyes, which is odd. I get hit. 5 odd. I lose 4 stamina points. I'm down to 19. And then next round, he rolls 6, I roll 5, so he's down to 3. He rolls 5, I roll 11, he's down to 1. And finally, perhaps, he rolls 3 and I roll 11. He doesn't have a chance to use his eyes in the last round. He is dead. Okay, so I'll probably actually leave it there. If you win, the Dai Oni mutters in anger and, picking up a huge spiked iron club, or Tetsubo, advances towards you. Turn to 292. Okay, so and then we got 292. I'm going to put that up here. 292. You must fight the Dai Oni. Whenever it hits you, you lose 2 stamina points as in normal combat, but also roll 1 extra die. If the result is 1 or 2, turn to 90. If the result is 3 or 4, turn to 102. If the result is 5 or 6, turn to 118. Ooh. Okay, so 10, 10, and then we got, if you win, turn to 74. So I've got 3 extra paragraphs there for let's put dots there, so I'll just know that's something you can get to during combat. And the winning paragraph is 74, and then it is, let's see, 90, 102, 118. So that's 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. And that's when he hits me, not otherwise. Okay, so let's get started on that one as well. So he has, of course, I get my first hit in, so it's 10, 7, and I'm 12, 19. I've got a 2 skill point advantage. Let's see how this goes. He rolls 8, I roll 7, so that is me hitting him. It's down to 5. He rolls 4. I roll 9. He's down to 3. He rolls 2. I roll 7. So he's down to 1. Should I use luck there? Or should I risk it? I'm going to risk it. He rolls 3 again, and I roll 3, and that means he is dead, actually. And that wasn't as hard as I thought it could have been. And I go to 74, and I don't find out what the special things happening are. So there we are, 74. You have finally defeated the Dai Oni, and it lies at your feet in the sand of the arena, breathing its last. The ghostly crowd fades away, and the arena is empty. The Dai Oni whispers painfully to you. You have won, mortal. The laws of the tourney of the plains set by the gods bind me like fetters of steel. Now I must grant you one request. The magic of the Dai Oni fades a little with its defeat. You may restore 1 point of skill, 1 point of luck, or 2 points of stamina if you lost any of these in your battle. Oh, that means you can lose skill, actually, if you in one of the special attacks, probably by the Dai Oni, or maybe in one of the other battles, indeed. If you don't have any allies to help you. I don't need stamina so much, so I suppose luck. So back up to maximum 10, so I'm going to go up to 10. What will you ask of the Dai Oni? What is the secret of singing death? How do I slay Ikiru, Master of Shadows, or help me in my quest to slay Ikiru? Now, he might as well tell me the secret of singing death, because the punishment for that is eternal damnation. He is a great demon. Eternal damnation is his job title, almost. So Again, I suppose I'll save my game now in case this is actually such a pivotal choice that something bad happens if you make the wrong one. So let's see, but first of all, let's make a note now. You can sort of add +1 skill, or +1 luck, or +2 stamina, which is not as valuable as regaining luck for sure. And then we have 3 options. So that's 206, 188, 1150. What is the secret of singing death? Secret? Slay, question mark, or help? Can he help me? Can he actually aid me in the battle? Or do I just have to find out what the secret is, because that is the only way I can defeat him? That's what the Shogun said. I'm going to ask him what is the secret of singing death, and if that is the wrong choice, I'll have to go back and make it again. The die only screws up its face in pain and rage. Curse you, mortal! The secret is harmony. Utter that word, and singing death will come to life and fly into your hands, but only for those of noble heart, which is why Ikudu has been unable to use it yet. He adds with a laugh of malicious glee. Then his body dies. If you have a jade amulet fashioned in the shape of a tatsu, turn to 220. Yeah, I do. If not, turn to 270. Okay, so that may have been the right answer in that case. So harmony. That's not a very good word as a code word to activate a magical sword, though, because the Japanese word for harmony is ai. And of course, if you're in combat and you're trying to activate your ki, as it were, and you're sort of trying to use that force into your attack, and you're doing a shout, you also shout ai, which means that anyone who's doing a sort of combat shout to activate their energy is actually also calling for the sword. That's a bit risky. Okay, so that's not a very good choice, but he wouldn't know, probably because obviously the writer here doesn't know any Japanese. He's just looked up some words, and not all of them either. Anyway, right. So if I have a jade amulet fashioned in the shape of tatsu, so actually that's a clue there. And this may be the correct option. I'm not 100% sure, of course, if the other ones are better, but it sounds to me like that is the best option. If you don't know the secret, then of course you can't win. So it's sort of, in a way, those other 2 ones are made moot by the fact that you don't know the secret. Do I have a jade amulet shaped in the shape of a tatsu or of a dragon, as it says in other places of the text? And that was an amulet again, not a talisman. In fact, you should really, when you call it a talisman, you should really use talisman every single time, not to avoid confusion. So there we are. You should always call things and describe things in the same way to make sure that people don't confuse it and think they don't have something in the game book. Note to self, the thing is that I've probably mentioned this before, that I wouldn't mind actually trying to write a game book or 2 one day. And one of the reasons I actually got into starting to play fighting fantasy again is because this is sort of inspiration for me, and also I'm learning a lot about the structure of game books and the mechanics of game books and the mechanics of the mapping, the paths, the branching paths, different ways of using things like clues, for instance, and there's lots of really good stuff I've learned from reading these books now. And I think I'm sort of leaning a little bit towards the Steve Jackson way of doing it, where you have little clues in the text as to what is the correct choice, either as a clue or as something that is logical. So, for instance, in an Ian Livingstone book, you might have a choice of 2 things, and one of them is instant death and the other one isn't, but you haven't got any clues as to what is the right choice. And so it's just a random choice for you. That's not a good thing. What you really need is to include little hints in your text that give you, if you pick up on them, you will know what decision to make. You may not be 100% certain, but you will be leaning more towards one choice than another because you have picked up on the clue. You must, I think, in order to be really fair to your players, you really should give them that if the choice is something that will kill you. So just one of the thoughts that I've sort of been thinking of since I started playing Fighting Fantasy just over a year ago. It really makes a difference. Those little things. Okay. So I do have a jade amulet in the shape of a tatsu, or as it has been described before, a jade amulet in the shape of a dragon, a jade talisman in the shape of a dragon. So 220. So let's see, amulet, question mark, or no, or none. I'll put that. Okay, so 220. A terrible thing happens. After the body of the Dione, a spectral shape coalesces, a ghostly form of the demon with insubstantial taloned hands. It is a Shura, or warrior ghost, the spirit of the Dione, come to avenge its death. But you remember the words of the Tatsu and invoke the Jizo of demons, saying, Ashura is here, O Jizo, come and execute your purpose. As you finish the word purpose, a being appears before you. He is dressed as a warrior monk and bears a staff inscribed with the glowing runes. You are filled with awe at the sight of it. The Jizo of demons ignores you and merely strikes the ghostly spectre. The apparition promptly disappears with an echoing wail of dread. The Jizo, without even acknowledging your presence, also departs. Turn to 76. Okay, so that is, I suppose that's a good way of using a clue as well, because you don't need to have it as separate from the item in that case, because you got an item and you got the clue at the same time. So in that way, you actually avoid cheating. So you can't sort of pretend. Well, you could pretend to have the talisman, but that's something that most people playing these games wouldn't do. You can't be guessing at what you need to do. Some game books actually allow you to guess what needs to be done, and if you have the clue, then of course you know which one to go to, but you still get the option of getting the right choice. It's tied to the item, and I think that's also quite a good thing. Anyway, so that means that the Jade Amulet is an essential item without which you cannot win the game. So I will have to go back here and make a little note and say that you do have to be on this paragraph to win the game, and that is the one with the talisman and the clue. Which also indicates to me that it's possible to get past that bit without having met the dragon, of course. So maybe that's the other path. I don't know yet. Right. Sorry, a lot of chat there. I'll get back to playing the game now. So yeah, I actually need to restart my camera. Just 2 seconds. I see I've only got 7 minutes left on my camera before I have to upload the memory card again, and I don't have a very big memory card, but I do have the biggest that my camera allows. Shows its age actually. So I've got 7 minutes. So let's get to it. Let's not too much chatter now. Okay. Turn to 76. Okay, so 76. The walls of the arena begin to shimmer, fade, and dissolve away. Something else appears in its stead. A black, dark place. You are at the end of a long pillared hall of black marble. Braziers of glowing coal give off an eerie glow, and shadows flicker and weave, chasing one another across the floor. At the end of the hall is a huge pit, from which noxious fumes spiral upward. Beyond the pit is a grotesquely carved throne of dull stone. The workmanship is extraordinary. Peaks, pinnacles, gargoyles, and strange, twisted shapes adorn it. The effect is to wreathe the throne in shadows. You can just make out a cowled figure sitting upon it. It seems to be staring at something in front of the throne. On the stand before the throne rests a magnificent nodachi, a two-handed sword, in a scabbard of bright filigreed gold. It seems completely out of place in this hall of shadowy gloom and brooding evil. You recognize Singing Death, the sword of the samurai, and your heart is uplifted. Then the cowled head jerks up in surprise. Beneath the cowl there is nothing but blackness. A sibilant whisper hisses forth, a quiet exhalation of breath. Who dares to visit Onikaru, the pit of demons, and incur the wrath of Ikiru, master of shadows? If you know the secret of Singing Death, turn to 152. If you do not, turn to 94. I do know the secret. Okay, so... So 152 secret question mark 94 no. So 152 I know the secret. Without hesitating you shout harmony as loud as you can. The sound echoes like a trumpet blast through the quiet gloom of this hall of shadows. Ikiru recoils in horror on his throne. No, he rasps, a sound like chalk screeching on a blackboard. A blaze of light erupts from the sword, dispelling the shadows and causing Ikiru to cover his cowled face even further. The flare dies down as quickly as it came. Singing Death rises majestically into the air and then hurtles towards you with fantastic speed, straight into your outstretched hands, where it seems to nestle as if welcoming you. The effect is instantaneous. You are filled with strength and well-being. Gain 2 luck points. Don't need it. Yeah. 2 skill points. Don't need it. Unless this is skill points for wielding a better sword, actually. It really should be, shouldn't it? Because... so I'm going to put 14 in brackets there, in case that makes a difference. And 4 stamina points. Stamina is full. Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, and even if any of these bonuses take you beyond your initial. Oh, okay, so that changes things. That means I've got 14 skill and 27 stamina and 12 luck, actually. Okay. Whoa, okay. You stand for a moment unable to act as raw vitality courses through you. The cowled figure gestures hurriedly and a shadow form floats up out of the pit. It begins to take shape before you. It is vaguely manlike, but with a horned head and massive taloned claws, it is a shadow demon. Only semi-corporeal, a creature from the nether regions. If your honor is 5 or more, turn to 274. If it is less than 5, turn to 174. It looks like the beginning of the book really is for you to gather a few items and honor points. And then you get to the end game with the tourney of the plains, and you have to have the items and the honor, and then that's the end of the book, really. It looks like to me at the moment. So this is the second end game, really, or an extended end game. Right, so first of all, I make a note here. So there's +2 luck, +4 stamina, +2 skill, and over in it. I'll put in brackets there. And then we have the question honor 5, so that's 274 or 174. So that is honor 5+ or honor -5. So it seems 5 is the crucial number for honor. So you need to get at least 2 honor points from your initial score to be able to get to this stage. Without an honor of 5 or more, of course, Singing Death is not going to aid you at all, presumably. Okay, so 274. Let's go and see what there is there. The shadow demon lunges at you. You swing, singing death in a great two-handed cut. As the sword connects, it gives a single pulse of blazing white light. The demon howls in agony, a distant, faint wail, and its shadowy substance burst asunder, shards of blackness flying apart until nothing is left. Turn to 212. The shadow demon is dead, and Ikiru hisses in rage and fear. Hurriedly he raises his hands high and utters a strange cry. Shapes begin to rise up out of the pit and form around him, a phalanx of guardian shadows. A score surround him in moments. Will you step forward and throw Singing Death into the pit? Will you wait to see what happens? Will you walk around the pit and try to stride boldly through the shadowy forms? Or will you throw Singing Death like a spear at Ikiru? Well, I think I'll save my game for this one, because it sounds like making the wrong decision now will be the end. And whereas the right decision might mean victory. Why should I throw it into the pit? Am I trying to close the pit? Will he... What did it say in the beginning? Just a recap now. So what does it say? So it says that now that he has a sword, Bakemon, Osho, and Shikome are flocking to his banners, and he summons forth Shura, warrior ghost, from the pit to aid him. Okay. That's all it says, really. Should I try throwing the sword? I mean, it can fly, clearly, and it has a certain volition of its own, so maybe it will find its target. Anyway, let's put up the options. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 options now. And I've got so far in this now, I'm not going to start over again. If at this point, I'm going to just keep going until I make it. So if I make a wrong choice now, I will have to do a do-over, and otherwise I'd have to start from the beginning and do the whole thing again exactly the same way, which would be a little bit boring for me and a little bit boring for you. 298. 63. Okay, so we got the 4 options, and it is into the pit, wait, around the pit, or throwing this physical throw. Try to stride boldly through the shadowy forms. Yeah. 298. You skirt the pit and walk towards the throne, holding Singing Death in front of you. As you near it, the shadows fall back, unable to resist the power of the sword. Those that stray too close are instantly vaporized by its touch. Turn to 121. Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to 1, 2, 1. Okay. 121. There we go. You are in front of the throne. Ikiru rises up like a shade. You stare into the cowl to see only shadowy nothingness, the face of evil. Ikiru points at you, and bolts of dark energy leap from his fingers towards you. If your honor is 6 or more, now not 5, turn to 189. Okay, so we have 2 options depending on our honor, and now the new target number is 6. So we have 189 on a 6 plus, or 131 on a 5 minus. I've got 7 honor, so yeah, I'm still good to go. 189. Okay. Suddenly, Singing Death flares brightly once more, and the bolt of dark energy simply ceases to be. simply ceased to be, indeed, extinguished in its bright light. Ikiru staggers back, but the light fades as quickly as it sprang up. Turn to 199. 199. It seems to be protecting me quite well so far. A sword of black steel etched with glowing red runes appears in Ikuru's shadowy grasp, and you both fall to combat, dark against light. Each time you hit him, deduct stamina as usual, but also test your luck. If you're lucky, turn to 235. If you are unlucky, just fight on. Each time Ikiru hits you, not only do you lose the normal stamina, but a powerful surge of force erupts from his black rune sword and threatens to overcome you. Roll 2 dice. If the result is more than your stamina, turn to 47. If it is not, fight on. And that looks like quite a good set of combat rules for special combat to me. 12, 12, and asterisk, special combat. And it says, if you win, turn to 400. So that is 400. So let's get this show on the road. So now we have 27 stamina, 14 skill, and 12 luck. So let's see. So we have for 12, 27. So 12, 27, and also we have luck 12. It's got those. And no, hang on. We don't have 12. We have 14 because we have 2 extra skill points because we are wielding Singing Death. So, and he has 12, and I get first strike because I know Iai Jutsu, which means that he's only got 9 stamina left. He doesn't have much stamina, does he? To be honest, I think that's quite. I would have expected more. So on paper, this looks like we got a really good chance of winning. Okay. But each time I hit, I also test for luck. Okay, so let's see. So I've got a 2 skill point advantage. He rolls 5. I roll 9. I hit him. And he's down to 7. But then I test for luck as well. And I roll 9. So I'm down to 11. And then I go to paragraph 235. Singing Death cuts into Ikuru's side and he hisses with pain. A jagged bolt of lightning leaps from the sword blade and into Ikuru's cowled face. There is an almighty thunderclap. The black rune sword disappears and Ikuru is destroyed utterly. No vestige of his being remains in the chamber. Turn to 400. Woohoo. The black robes. I have to tidy up my book there. Okay. Oh, after the one. Okay. The black robes that encase the Master of Shadows fall to the floor in a heap. Ikuru is no more. The walls of his dark hall begin to shudder and his throne to crumble. The pit falls in on itself. Great cracks appear in the floor. Desperately you search for an entrance, but then part of a wall falls away and clean sunlight passes in. Are you looking for an entrance? Shouldn't you be looking for an exit? Surely. Okay. Wincing from the glare, you run out to find yourself in the Shiosei Mountains. Behind you, the great black palace of strange alien designs is crumbling away. The palace of Ikiru. You find yourself in the midst of a camp of shikome, but they are ignoring you. Some of them are staring in horrified fear at the palace. Others are running hither and thither in panic. You take this opportunity to leave quickly and you escape unmolested. A few days later, you are safely back in Konichi, the capital, where the shogun holds a state banquet in your honor. With the return of Singing Death, his rule is assured, and the lords of Hachiman unite under his banner to repel the barbarian invaders. With Ikuru slain, his army of shikome disperse, and the threat is lifted. An age of peace and prosperity lies ahead of you and the people of Hachiman. And so it ends. There we are. That is the end of the book. and I was not expecting to get this today actually. Um, so that was quite a successful playthrough. If I must say so myself. There's some really hard, tough bits as well. Of course, the end there is actually really easy. As long as you have 6 honor. I suppose if you don't have 6 honor, you would have to fight him to the death, because only with 6 honor would a lock roll allow you to kill him instantly, I presume. But yeah, that was a really exciting playthrough, I think. And but the end game of this book, sort of starting from the tourney of the plains and going to the defeat of Ikiru, is obviously a huge part of the book, and it's almost like that is the book. The beginning bit is just to sort of warm you up a little bit. And so the structure of this then is quite different. I mean, the battles now are truly epic. But the problem I think I have with potentially a problem, of course, is that this is a book of 400 paragraphs, and when you dedicate that much of a book to basically an elongated final battle, there's not much left of the book for other stuff, more sort of atmosphere, more. So it sort of gets kind of linear in a strange way as well. So I'm not sure. I think this would actually be a good structure for a book if it had more than 400 paragraphs. If, say, you added another 200, and you had this epic battle at the end, from the tourney of the plains and all the way to defeating Ikiru, but you also had the normal amount of stuff happening before. In lots of fighting fantasy books, the battle with the final master villain, as it were, is just one paragraph, and then you go to 400. But in this one, it's more than 100 paragraphs devoted to that sort of end game, and then you go to 400. So, which leaves less for the other stuff. So, while I do quite appreciate the sort of the how you really feel part of that battle when you're given that much flavor and that much going on, I still feel like there's some lacking bits in the beginning. There's sort of, you need a little bit more to flesh out the story and get the more possibilities perhaps to get honor points, or different branches that have different flavors and interesting things that will go with the theme of the book. And yeah. But overall, I think I really liked this one. I really enjoyed the epicness of the battle. I rather enjoyed the descriptions that sort of added a lot of atmosphere to the battles as well, especially the victory paragraphs, where you actually get a sort of flavor bit where it tells you how you dispatched of the monster that you were fighting. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Some very non-Japanese names notwithstanding. And I'm looking forward to playing the next one. I'm really surprised now because I'm not used to. I mean, which was it again? Oh, a few books ago now, and I was playing. Oh, hang on. Yeah, Rebel Planet. It was. I almost forgotten now. And it took me what, 12 sessions to get through it, or 11 sessions. And then I did Demons of the Deep in 2 sessions, and now I've done Sword of the Samurai in 2 sessions. And I'm beginning to wonder, do I have to start planning to get something else to play next? Because I will run out of fighting fantasy books at this rate. I will run out of them sooner than I thought. Hopefully, this will not be the pattern that continues now. So I don't want to win these books on the first or the second try, ideally, because I want to feel that I've covered more ground, that I've found some interesting ways to end the game, some interesting insta-deaths, some flavorful encounters that add interest and atmosphere to a story. But that said, in this book, I still felt like I covered a lot of ground. I've been through a lot of paragraphs in it. And the same with Demons of the Deep as well, because of the way it's structured. I didn't feel like I was missing out on much by winning on the second time. So that's not too bad. Right, too much talk right now. I think I've said enough today, and also I'm losing my voice because I've been talking for so long today. Right, so I will therefore, as I had decided before, My next episode is going to be another fighting fantasy roulette. Yes, it's the exciting and quite dangerous sport of playing all the books at the same time and not just one of them. And as I realized last time I played it, it is actually quite hazardous to start on book number one because you have some really tricky bits. You can lose a lot of skill points, for instance, if you make the wrong turns, so and make the wrong choices. Anyway, so next time it will be Fighting Fantasy Roulette episode 4, and after that again I will get into book number 21, which is, I know this is lots of people's favorite actually. It's the sequel to Death Trap Dungeon. It's Trial of Champions. And I'm quite excited to play this because I used to have this book, but I do remember that I didn't really play it properly. I remember there was some gladiatorial combat stuff going on in the beginning, and I sort of lost track of it. So I don't think I ever got into the dungeon or anything. So the Death Trap Dungeon, which of course got defeated in the first book, and now of course it's been revamped and more deathly than ever before, presumably. So that's going to be my next 2 episodes of Fighting Fantasy game book playing, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Thank you very much for watching this, if you've had the patience to be with me all the while through. And if you enjoy this, please like, share, comment, subscribe, join me on Patreon, and I will see you in my next video. And thank you very much, and goodbye for now. Bye-bye. Sayonara. Oh, I can do my...